studio, this is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Welcome in! Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Wednesday. About half the work week in the rearview mirror. Appreciate you hanging out with us. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Sam Spiegelman from Rivals going to be with us in 15 minutes. We haven't checked in on recruiting in a couple of weeks, so we'll do that. It's a bit of a quieter time. It was a fever pitch in June. It slowed down a little bit in the month of July, but we'll talk to Sam about some of the bigger names on the board coming up in 15 minutes. It's What If Wednesday. If you're listening, want to throw us a what if, hit us on the text line, 225-499-1045 with your what ifs. Can be sports related, can be anything related. We'll get to that coming up in 30 minutes. Jeff Goodman keeps talking about LSU, not in the most positive light. We'll discuss that to a degree. Our in-depth chart series has reached quarterback today. We'll discuss Sam Leavitt and the entirety of the quarterback room coming up at 2 o'clock. And CBS Sports ranked every single NFL team by their quarterback, top receiver, and top running back. Where do the Saints come in? We'll do that in hour number 2. So plenty to get to. Let's crank it up with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
All right, let's crank things up with the news of the day that came out officially from LSU, and some great news for a Tiger legend. Bert Jones will have his jersey retired coming up in November when Texas visits Tiger Stadium. Of course, Bert Jones, one of the great players in the history of the program. He was with the Tigers from 1969 to 1971. He started for a couple of seasons in 70 and 71. With Bert Jones under center, LSU was 26-6-1. He led them to the 1970 SEC title. When he left LSU, he held the records for passing yards, touchdown passes, attempts, and completions. He finished 4th in the Heisman Trophy voting in 1971. He was the 2nd overall pick of the NFL draft with the Baltimore Colts, and eventually would go on to win the 1976 NFL Most Valuable Player Award, the Ruston Rifle. One of the great ones in the history of LSU football. Like, I am not going to sit here as someone who was born in 1988 and tell you stories about Bert Jones playing quarterback at LSU. I don't have any memories of Bert Jones playing quarterback at LSU. What I can tell you is that LSU, for whatever reason, good, bad, indifferent, for whatever reason, LSU was hesitant for decades to retire numbers, retire jerseys. Billy Cannon's number was immediately retired in 1959. And from 1959 to 2009, that's 50 years. Only Billy Cannon's number was retired at LSU. He was the only Heisman Trophy winner. That was LSU's only national title. So, okay, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But somewhere along the line, after the turn of the century, there was a decision made, hey, we're gonna look at some of these legends from the purple and gold, and we're gonna put some more numbers on the facade at Tiger Stadium. And Tommy Casanovas, the only 3-time All-American in school history, went up in 2009. Jerry Stovall went up in 2018. Last year, Alexander the Great, Charles Alexander's number and name, went up on the facade in the south end zone, and Bert Jones will go in this year. So 50 years, one number. And then over the course of the last 17, there will be 4. And I think it's a good thing. For those that look at that and go, well, they're going to run out of numbers. No, they're not. Billy Cannon's 20 is the only number that's not worn. Clearly, Bert Jones' 7 has been worn and will be worn. It's given out as an honor in the LSU football program. 21 has been worn. Jerry Stovall's number. Charles Alexander's number 4 has been worn. Mansour Delane wore it last year. You're going to see it worn this year. The only number that's not being worn right now, other than 20, is 9. I went back and checked. Nobody's worn 9 since 2020, and that's clearly been communicated. That day will come when Joe Burrow gets his number retired, and I believe Jaden Daniels will and should come right after that. You win the Heisman Trophy, we don't need to wear your number anymore. LSU will not run out of numbers if they retire all the Heisman Trophy winner numbers. But the jerseys mean people can still wear the numbers, and they do for all these. So I think it's a good thing to honor legends of the game, and I think it's great to do it while they're still here. Bert Jones played here a long time ago, 1971. It's been a minute. And so, again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you about Bert Jones stories from when he was a quarterback. What I can tell you is that I've gotten to meet Bert Jones on a number of occasions here in Baton Rouge. I've interviewed him in some settings with the Alumni Association. I did a radio show from his golf tournament that he's held annually here to raise money for cystic fibrosis. He's been an amazing champion for that disease. He is a carrier of that gene. He's got family members affected. He himself does not have CF, but he's a carrier for that gene. And so he's spent a lot of time and raised a ton of money for CF. And that's something that I've been involved in at different times over the years. And he's just been nothing but a wonderful guy. He tells a lot of stories that aren't about football. He loves the outdoors. He loves hunting. And he'll talk about LSU football and the 1 second on the clock against Ole Miss and some of the great stories from those days and Coach McClendon and all that. But I just enjoyed my experience with Bert Jones is just the guy and the philanthropist. It's not the Ruston Rifle. I didn't see that. My dad did. A lot of you driving around did, but a lot of you driving around didn't. I just think more so than my commentary on whether or not Bert Jones is deserving, which based on the accolades I read off to you at the beginning of the segment, I think he very much is. I think it's great that LSU is honoring the greatest players that have ever played here. And you're not taking numbers away from people. The guys are still wearing these numbers, but those guys that were great players deserve to have their numbers put up on the facade. So once Bert Jones goes in November, you'll see Billy Cannon, Tommy Casanova, Jerry Stovall, Charles Alexander, and Bert Jones up there on the facade of the south end zone. And I believe, as I just said, you'll see Joe Burrow as well as Jaden Daniels because those are Heisman Trophy winners. I also think there are some more names that absolutely should be considered. And now that we've kind of opened, I don't want to call it the floodgates because that's got a negative connotation where you're just like letting anybody and everybody do anything they want. But you've opened the opportunity. You're creating that discussion, and I think it's awesome. And I think that there are more guys who need their name and number recognized. Kevin Falk, all eyes on 3, left LSU as the SEC's all-time leader in all-purpose yards and touchdowns. Came to LSU at a time where no one was coming in state. They were all fleeing the state to go elsewhere. Like Warwick Dunn from right down the road here was leaving to go to Florida State. And you know all the names that were leaving LSU. And Jerry DiNardo got Kevin Falk to come to LSU. And no, they didn't win a national championship, but they certainly elevated the program so that when Nick Saban took over and was able to keep Marcus Spears here, was able to keep Michael Clayton here, was able to keep those great Louisiana players in state, and eventually the golden age of LSU football was ushered in. But Kevin Falk was a huge part of elevating the program. He's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. That was a big deal back then. Beat number 1 in the nation for the first time ever. Set SEC records. Like Kevin Falk's name should and will be on the South End Zone facade in Tiger Stadium. He's a college football Hall of Famer. I feel the exact same way about Glenn Dorsey. Glenn Dorsey was a 2-time All-American, a unanimous All-American in 2007. He won the Nagurski Award, he won the Lombardi Award, he won the Outland Award, he won the Lott Award, SEC Defensive Player of the Year, and oh, by the way, national champion. Now it's a team award, but he was part of a national championship here and won every award you can win. So to me, like that's one where you could convince me they should retire his number, that no one should wear 72 again. Like I wouldn't think that was above and beyond at all because that's as good and accomplished a defensive career as you can have in college football. They don't give the Heisman Trophy to defensive players. Charles Woodson got it, and that'll be probably the last one, and no one thinks he should have won it. He went out there and caught a few passes, and there you go. But Glenn Dorsey absolutely deserves that honor. And there are others that I think you could absolutely make that case for, and one that I did on LouisianaSports.net, and it's not someone I saw play, but you look at the accomplishments, and I think it's probably a better discussion for those of you that did see him play. For those of you that were around at that time, all I can do is look at the record books, and I don't feel convicted in saying this, but I think it's absolutely worth a discussion. Like Wendell Davis had a brilliant run at LSU. LSU hadn't won an SEC title in 15 years. He and Tommy Hodson and a great team go out there in 86, win the SEC. And that year, Davis set the single-season record at LSU for catches, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. He set the record for catches in a game with 14. He was a 2-time All-American, including consensus honors in 1987. Like, there aren't that many guys who have been 2-time All-Americans and consensus All-Americans. And Wendell Davis is one of those. there have only been 10 guys in school history to be named All-Americans in multiple seasons. Wendell Davis is one of those. So again, I'm not like completely convicted in that, but I think it's worth a discussion. His numbers have been overshadowed by Josh Reed and by Dwayne Bowe and by Jamar Chase and by Malik Neighbors. In a different era of football, those guys have passed his numbers significantly. But that's a guy that I would take a look at. I'm not trying to make the entire stadium lined with numbers. This doesn't have to be Yankee Stadium's Monument Park. I'm not clamoring for that, but I do think that it's good to acknowledge the greats in your program's history, and there's not really any harm done. I don't think you've devalued having your name on the facade by putting Bert Jones up there. I don't think you would devalue anybody's accomplishment by putting Kevin Falk or Glenn Dorsey up there. I think there are times where I look at Hall of Fames, whether it's the Basketball Hall of Fame or the Baseball Hall of Fame, and I go, is that really? I don't feel that when I talk about these guys. I think that this is a really, really good thing. So again, today's not a day where I can come in here personally and tell you about my stories of Bert Jones playing and how awesome he was. But I think it's a great thing for LSU to recognize its history, and I know that it means a lot to the folks that they have honored. We got a chance to talk to Charles Alexander last year on the weekend that his number went up, and it just meant so much to him years and years later. Bert Jones loves LSU and spends time in Baton Rouge and comes back to games, and it'll no doubt mean a lot to him, and we'll hear from him in the months to come before his name goes up in the rafters. And it's just it's a great thing. And I know that a lot of us, myself very much included, look forward to the day that Joe Burrow can be on that field and watch his number go up there, because that year is so memorable, means so much to so many people, and that the same thing can be said for Jaden Daniels as well. And there are people that probably feel that way, that are in their 60s and 70s, that feel that way about Bert Jones. And I think that's awesome. So great day for LSU, great day for Bert Jones, and certainly worthwhile of leading the show with. If you missed this earlier today, LSU announced Bert Jones will have his jersey 7 retired in the south end zone facade over there at LSU when Texas visits Tiger Stadium in November. We're off and running here on a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. When we come back, let's check in on some guys that we hope have their number, their jersey retired at LSU. They're in high school still. We'll talk some recruiting with Sam Spiegel when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge, swingeasygcbr.com, swingeasygcbr.com. Stop on by. They're playing the Open Championship this weekend. You want to play where some of the Open Championships have played? St. Andrews, you can do it. Carnoustie, you can do it. They're at Royal Birkdale this week. You want to play that? You can on the simulator at Swing Easy Golf Club. So go on by. They've got cold beers and seltzers in there. They got music. You can get your private bay, bring a team, and y'all sit comfortable chairs, compete against yourselves, take unlimited mulligans, card a score, whatever you want to do on that golf simulator. Just have some fun, independent of the weather conditions, which can be not great around here this time of year, especially with the heat and the rain that we get. Swing Easy is a great chance to play a little golf without having to deal with all of that. Go see them, Segan at Perkins. They're online at swingeasygcbr.com. It's Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Are you ready for an internet experience that actually keeps up with you? Then you're ready to step into a new kind of reliability with Rev Fiber. When your internet works, the possibilities open up, and suddenly everything feels more connected, just the way it should be. Seamless enough to keep up with every swipe and every click, anywhere you are. So leave the buffering behind. 100% fiber, 0% runaround, where support is still personal. Rev Fiber. Visit revfiber.com.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Parrish, we bring the same commitment to your home that champions bring to the game.
Do business with someone you know.
Parrish Construction and Roofing.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishGroup.com.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you'll likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Chugging along here on this Wednesday, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. We got What If Wednesday coming your way in 15 minutes. If you've got a what if for us, hit us up via text. Just a simple text, 225-499-1045. Could be any easier. 225-499-1045. Shoot us a what if. Can be sports related. Can be anything related. Just hit us up. We'll get to those coming up in 15 minutes. There's a lot of what ifs in the recruiting world. Let's talk about some of that with the rivals of Sam Spiegelman. Good enough to give us some time on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Sam, how we doing?
I can't complain, Hunt. How you doing?
Doing quite well. Obviously, late May and June were kind of a fever dream. A ton of camps, Elite 11 stuff, official visits, a lot of commitments, a lot of flips, a lot of things going on. Safe to say at this point things have settled down and we're waiting to get into college camps and high school camps at this point, and there aren't not a lot of activity in the recruiting world.
Yeah, at this point, you know, the 2027 class, as you are well aware of, is all but has a pin stuck in it. There are a few lingering prospects, a few uncommitted, that will have some domino effects on some of the other potential flips that may or may not occur. But to be perfectly honest, this is probably the stretch run for this 2027 class. You know, these colleges, at least the top programs in the country, like the LSU Tigers, are beginning to shift their focus onto the upcoming season. You know, if you're Lane Kiffin, you're focusing on making a splash in your first season, making LSU a contender yet again. And with that, the recruiting personnel, the front office is working on retaining the actual roster, finding what they need in the portal for next, the next upcoming portal opening. And, of course, shifting their focus to 2028 and beyond.
So let's talk about three guys that are committed. They're huge names that everybody wants to hear about at this point. And we'll start with LSU, with Ahmad Hudson. I know he's out at Peach Jam right now getting some buckets. Everyone that I've talked to that's an LSU fan feels pretty good about that. I would figure with good reason. You figure there's any drama remaining with Ahmad Hudson?
I'm all squeezed out of the Ahmad Hudson drama. Yeah. I think that listen, he is, again, he has spoken candidly to rivals, to myself. He is not, he, like a few other prospects around the country, their recruitment is shut down, though it may not be officially or public. Their recruitment is all but done. He didn't accidentally commit to the Tigers in May ahead of his official visits. He has been an LSU lean for the majority of his recruitment, except for one 2 or 3 month stretch, which happened to coincide with the transition from Brian Kelly to Lane Kiffin in Baton Rouge. And as I mentioned on the show last time, it remains to be the fact. Lane Kiffin the offensive coordinator, Charlie Weiss Jr., Joe Cox, his position coach, J.R. Belton, who was the first to offer him after his first varsity start at Ruston almost 4 years ago, are all fabrics of Ahmad's recruitment. His dad, of course, is an former LSU basketball player. He's a high school coach in the state. They have had fantastic meetings with Kiffin, with Weiss, with Cox, with the front office on the football side, and also Will Wade since he arrived in town. Nebraska is not going to stop recruiting him. They have a fantastic basketball program, and Matt Rule is one of the best head coach recruiters in the country. So, yes, they are going to continue to swing away until Ahmad Hudson signs on the dotted line, but I would be shocked, Hunt, if he makes it back to Lincoln for a game during the season while he's committed, while he's trying to get Ruston back to the Superdome for another year in a row to end his high school run with another state championship in football and then shift to hoops. Nebraska won't stop recruiting him, but I'm not sure it's going to get them too far in the long run.
That's about as emphatic as you can be at that point. One of the jokes I make about recruiting is that at times I get tired of people commenting on what shirt somebody's wearing or what shirt somebody's girlfriend's wearing on an Instagram picture or whatever, but it feels like a lot of people pay attention to when Jalen Brewster puts an LSU shirt on here or there. What can you suggest about where his recruitment is and kind of maybe as a timeline you see for him? I know he is committed to Texas Tech, but what's your read there?
Yeah, I'm with you. Everyone wants to read into every single detail or social media post, especially with Jalen Brewster, because at this point, after taking, I believe it was 5 official visits, he has not been openly speaking to too many people about the state of his recruitment. But listen, after, again, he made his way to see the national champions, Indiana. He went in-state to SMU in Texas. Schools like A&M and Ohio State have been recruiting him. Florida made a serious run in this recruitment. As of July 15th, this is a 2-team race. He committed to Texas Tech in the middle of his junior season. He plays for Cedar Hill High School, where Joey McGuire won 3 state titles. And probably his dad's best friend is Joey McGuire at this stage in the game. With that being said, LSU has not gone anywhere in this recruitment, actually much of the converse. They have continued to surge since getting him on campus May 29th weekend for his first summer official visit. His relationship with Kevin Peoples has only expounded. LSU continues to swing away. They are being aggressive on the NIL front with people like Peoples and, of course, Ed Orgeron recruiting him and his dad. They have Jalen Brewster's attention. Whether that means that a flip is going to happen, Hunt, that's up to things beyond my power. But I can tell you that the only team left standing in this race besides the Red Raiders are these Tigers. There are people who believe that Brewster does want to play in Baton Rouge. Whether he can get his entire team on that same page, that remains to be seen. He was expected, according to some in the know, to potentially make a decision or shut things down even as early as last week. Obviously, none of that transpired, and I believe the longer this goes, it works to LSU's advantage. Of course, in addition to being aggressive on the NIL front, there's probably not too many universities better than LSU in terms of branding of elite athletes. Jalen Brewster's the number 1 player in the country. He is not accidentally wearing those purple and gold shirts to all of his workouts this summer as he rehabs from his shoulder surgery. There is certainly some smoke behind this fire. Whether it gets over the line for a flip, that remains to be seen going into his senior season.
Sam Spiegelman's our guest. He's with the folks over at Rivals looking for recruiting coverage. It's a great place to start. Team over at the Bengal Tiger on 3 does a great job. Easton Royal is next on this list. I get the sense he kind of likes this process. What do you gather from him?
It's funny you start there because there's a lot of coaches and people, decision makers between Texas and LSU that also believe that Easton Royal really likes this recruiting process, and it's continuing potentially longer than anticipated. And Hunt, to be honest with you, we spoke offline before this started. This is a recruitment that I believe we would have a verdict for almost at this point in the calendar, and I'm not ruling out any sort of final decision before the end of this month. But there are people who are in Easton's camp who think that this process could extend into September, potentially longer. But I will say the longer this recruitment goes on, the longer it's going to favor the Texas Longhorns. I think as of today, Easton Royal still wants to be a Texas Longhorn, but LSU has Florida, I believe, is on the outside looking in, and this is a two-team race between Texas and LSU. And of course, Texas has played with a lead in this recruitment for the last 8 months since he committed to Steve Sarkisian. Lane Kiffin has been in contact with Royal and his mother. The front office members, coaching staff have been in touch with Easton Royal as of this week. The dialogue continues. There are some who believe he will end up in the purple and gold if he is to flip at some point this month, but Texas remains in a really good spot. They have not thrown in the towel on this race. One catalyst we might just see this week is the number 2 receiver in the country, Moonshun Sales, is going to come off the board in 2 days. If he picks Texas, which is one of the 2 leaders for Sales, along with Indiana, his hometown school, that could be a catalyst if Easton doesn't want to be in the same class as Sales and in Texas, if he wants to start carving his own path in his home state. There is no doubt that there is a lot of pressure and influence that suggests that Royal will, wants to be a Tiger. They're still, at this point, this flip is not imminent. These schools are still recruiting him, and his family is still not confirmed on one decision or the next.
So that's kind of hitting the high notes. My question to you would be, let's play a hypothetical. That's kind of what recruiting is at times. If Easton Royal sticks with Texas, we know that Elijah Haven is committed to Alabama, and we know that Albert Simeon is committed to Notre Dame. By the Rivals rankings, that's 3 of the top 4 players in the state, and we kind of think that Lane Kiffin took this job with some eyes on that in-state talent that you have a great advantage in getting. How big a problem would it be if they miss out on 3 of the top 4 players in the state of Louisiana in his first full cycle?
Listen, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. It's not a great look. Albert Simeon is a prospect that I think LSU could have recruited better and could have had in this class. With Easton Royal, of course, similar deal, especially with Lane Kiffin being an offensive-minded head coach. To see him sign with an SEC rival, at a bordering state would be a tough blow. But at the same time, we are in a different era of college football, and while the outside image of losing on 3 of the top 4 prospects in the state hurts, we are in an era where if they want the best offensive lineman in the country, I don't know, maybe like someone like Jordan Seaton's stature, they're going to go out and use whatever money that they had put away for Albert Simeon to get the best interior offensive lineman they can find in the portal who can come in and play right away. The same goes for Easton Royal. LSU would love to have Easton Royal in this class, and LSU is prepared, I believe, to make the most significant NIL offer of any of the 3 schools that are still standing in his recruitment. I'm talking, including Texas, in that conversation. I believe LSU would pay more to have Royal as a part of this class. So if he elects to stick with the Longhorns, which is certainly a possibility at this point, LSU is going to be extremely aggressive, and they are going to get the number 1 receiver in the transfer portal when it opens up. They have plan A, B, C, D, E, F, and G already in their minds to find out. Again, they would love to have Easton Royal, the number 1 player at the position from New Orleans, in their class. But if he wants to stick with Texas, which, again, has recruited him very well over the past 8+ months, they are going to get a 5-star caliber receiver that's going to come in and shake up their wide receiver room for next spring. I guarantee it.
He is Sam Spiegelman, national recruiting analyst with the folks over at Rivals. If you're looking for your recruiting coverage, look no further. They do an awesome job over there. Shay Dixon and the L13 team over there at the Bengal Tiger. Great work as well. Sam, we appreciate it.
Anytime, Hunt. Have a good one.
You too. He is Sam Spiegelman. Look, that's kind of the overarching theme of this deal. Is like, you want to get Easton Royal. You want him in your program for 3 years. That's the Jamar Chase guy. That's the Odell Beckham guy. That's the Jarvis Landry guy. That's the Michael Clayton guy. That's the Malik Neighbors guy. That's the Louisiana kid who comes in and plays great football for 3 years here. It's like it always was. But the fact of the matter is that you can also go get Jace Brown and Trey Williams and Trey Wilson and Jackson Holiday and Winnie Watkins, and you just go fill the shelves that way. That's the way he was doing at Ole Miss. And we kind of think there's a differentiator here with the dirt, and that you can do it Louisiana way. That's what I'm wrestling with back and forth. Like, how big a deal is it if you miss out on the 3 of the top 4 guys in your state? I don't have the answer to that set in stone, and Sam kind of doesn't either. It's like, it's good if you get him, but if you don't, just who do you replace him with? You couldn't do that previously. You were missing out on Landon Collins, and then you'd go get Corey Thompson from Houston, and one guy's an All-American and an early round pick, and the other guy's a league average safety. It's just, you can fill that need in the transfer portal if you swing and miss. You don't want to swing and miss, but it's going to happen from time to time. It's an interesting time to study roster composition. There's no question about that, and we appreciate Sam giving us some help on all of that. Send us a text, 225-499-1045. Give us your what-ifs. What If Wednesday is next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Renaissance Homes and Pools. It's online at builtbyrenaissance.com. That's builtbyrenaissance.com. I always give you my guy Joey Blanchard's number every single time I do this read because he's the owner of the company, and he's the guy you'll talk to when you deal with Renaissance Homes and Pools, a local pool builder, local outdoor kitchen builder. 225-252-7745. Again, it's in the 225 area code. 252-7745. That's Joey Blanchard. And I always talk about the new pools, and they can build you a new pool, but they can also give your pool a fresh look. If you've had your pool for 10 or 15 years and you want to do a remodel, they can do it. They can come in and they can remove the old plaster, reinstall the new. They don't even have to remove the waterline tile, but it might be a good time to do that. You can put some new features in, like adding automation to control pumps, maybe a heater, heaters, lights, valves. You can revitalize your pool if it's a decade old with my friends at Renaissance Homes and Pools. If you want a new pool, Renaissance Homes and Pools. You want to revitalize a decade old pool? Renaissance Homes and Pools are online at builtbyrenaissance.com.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
Raising Cane's is honoring Chuck Norris on National Chicken Finger Day. For every box combo sold on July 27th, Cane's is donating $1 to Chuck's Foundation, Kickstart Kids.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Boudreaux's Electrical Services brings you our Wednesday shows, Tuesday shows, Thursday shows, Friday shows, and Monday shows, too. Every day, Boudreaux's Electrical. Reach out to Neil and Melissa. They've been running the show for 40 years. They know the needs of those in South Louisiana when it comes to that Generac home standby generator. They send out a local representative. They survey your situation. You tell them how you want the generator to respond. Because some generators don't power the whole house. Some are whole house generators. Some you're just trying to keep some appliances on. You want to keep the house cool. You want to make the fridge run. Need that television go. Like, you get to pick kind of how much voltage you want put into that house when the power goes down. And then they get you a quote for it. You get a local team that comes out and installs that generator. And then beyond the installation, you've got a local contact here in South Louisiana that can come out to do maintenance if that's necessary on your Generac home standby generator, so that when it is time for that generator to spring into action, it's ready to go. That's so important, because the last thing you want is to spend good money on a generator, then have an equipment issue that you're not aware of, and now who do I call to fix this? That'll never happen to you if you go with Boudreaux's Electrical Services. That's the difference. It's a local company. You can go with the big box store. Will you ever hear from them again? I'm not sure about that. You will if you call the folks at Boudreaux's Electrical, and you can do so at 985-397-1562. That's 985-397-1562. That's my friends at Boudreaux's Electrical Services. All right, chugging along here on a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Still a lot to get to. We got an in-depth chart look at quarterback. We'll talk about Sam Leavitt coming up at 2 o'clock. We'll also talk about his backups, Landon Clark and Husan Longstreak. And we'll also go into an NFL ranking from CBS Sports on the triplets for every single team, meaning the quarterback, the running back, and the wide receiver. Where do the Saints rank in that list? We'll do that coming up in about 35 minutes or so. Right now, it's What If Wednesday.
Time, space, reality. It's more than a linear path. Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities. Follow me and ponder the question, what if?
All right, so what if you could pick an SEC coach for a one-on-one next week?
Okay, I will do that in real life, not a truth serum one. Like, who do I think would be good to sit down with and chat one-on-one? There are a couple names percolating in my head. I find Mike Elko to be a good question answerer in his press conferences.
Okay.
I think that would be interesting. Drinkwitz is the quote-unquote chillest dude. He would sit down and probably cross his legs and shoot the breeze a little bit. Those two are coming to mind first. I wouldn't mind Pete Golding, but there's no shot in the dark that the Ole Miss SID would sit Pete Golding down on the Baton Rouge channel. So that's completely out of the question.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the rest, I don't have a ton of interest in talking to. Sark's a celebrity. Like, he's a big personality in the sport, so I would take that opportunity for sure.
Okay.
But I think pinned down, I think I would go with Elko. I think I would ask him about last year's game. I think I would ask him about the fact that he hired an offensive coordinator from within that has never called plays. I think I would ask him about Marcel Reed's development. I think I would ask him about why A&M hasn't won to the level that most schools with their resources have at some point. At some point, everybody else with 100,000 seats and $1 bajillion in a rich recruiting area has gotten somewhere important.
Yeah.
And I think I would ask him in a very tactful way, like, why? Because he's been there as a coordinator and as a head coach for a number of years now. I think he's been 5 years at A&M, so that's not a small sample size.
Wow, it's been that long?
I think I would, not as a head coach, but he was there as a defensive coordinator under Jimbo.
I'm like, oh my goodness.
So I think it would be Elko. I think that would be a good 10 minutes.
Man, no Kirby Smart love?
Kirby's boring. He's a great coach. He's not. Josh Heupel is not interesting at all. I don't have a lot of interest in talking to Alex Golish.
Yeah, that's
Shane Beamer. Like, he's okay.
Definitely not Shane Beamer.
That's just not really floating my boat. John Sumrall is a decent quote.
I'll get a drink with Sumrall before I have a one-on-one with him.
But if we're talking, just sit down and have a comment. I think the questions I would ask, and based on his press conference history, Elko gives some pretty good answers. There are times where he gets testy with the media, like. He has a strong feeling. There's sometimes where he gives a thoughtful answer. He's an Ivy League guy. Like, he's smart, and I think I would like to talk to him. Also, he worked for Brian Kelly, which I could ask.
Ooh, that is a good one. All right, so what if you got $1,000 for every World Cup player you can name? I'd be rich, boy.
Harry Kane.
Okay.
Mbappe.
All right. 2 bands.
We got the guy that got hurt for us. That's our best player. Pulisic.
Okay. 3.
Messi.
4.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
5.
Neymar.
Okay, 6. 6 bands? Not the U.S. best player. Well, Pulisic wasn't our best
the
player.
guy that got the card. I don't know his name. I got $6,000.
All right, 6 bands.
I got 6 players in the entire field.
Well,
that's pretty good. That's
pretty
better
good.
than I thought I would do.
No, to say you didn't know anything about what you
yeah,
didn't.
well, I mean, we got Messi going nuts. Mbappe's like the best player, they say. Although apparently France has like 3 of those. I don't know any of the rest of them.
France got knocked out yesterday.
Yeah, I only know one player on our team, Pulisic. I don't know who our goalie is. I don't know any of that.
There's one player that I kind of wish you would have got.
Country?
Spain. He's going to be the future GOAT. He's young, super young.
No chance. I couldn't get it multiple choice.
Oh, Lamine Yamal. Remember that name?
Never heard of him.
Yamal.
Never heard him 1 second in my entire life.
So, if Argentina meets Spain in the World Cup final, I'll do you this one better. Messi's his godfather. So there's a picture of.
I saw that on the internet today.
Yes, that's the kid.
I saw that.
Kid.
That's ridiculous.
Yes. Nothing's random in this world. Always remember that. Nothing is random.
Sometimes the world gets real small. People always say that it's a small world whenever I'm with people at a cocktail party or something. They go, well, oh, your aunt was such and such. Like, that's such a small world. No, it's a small state. And a lot of people in my orbit went to LSU.
Yeah,
so
together,
everybody went to LSU at one point. So everybody from Lake Charles and New Orleans and the North Shore and Monroe and Shreveport for 4 years just went to Baton Rouge and met a lot of people and then went back home. And then we know people. It's a small state. But that is a small world if you go to that part.
So what if the Big Ten wins the national championship again?
Good.
Is there no questions that they're the best conference in football?
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
I don't think that producing the champion makes you the best conference.
Okay.
I think producing the most good teams. And I think the Big Ten has a very strong argument against the SEC. Obviously, Ohio State, Michigan, and Indiana have won the title the last few years.
Yes.
Obviously, Penn State can swing with the middle class. I'm not saying
they're
that they're a
no,
power,
they're not top dogs.
But I just knocked them down 3 rungs. So now you're not talking about Georgia and the SEC either. You're talking about the Tennessees and LSUs and Ole Misses of the world. I think Penn State can play with those teams. I think that once you get to like 8, 9, 10, the SEC is probably better in your Vanderbilt class and your
Arkansas can probably beat.
No, Arkansas is the bottom. You're talking about your Missouris.
Oh, those guys.
You're talking about those teams.
Florida,
South Carolina a couple years ago. LSU is in the middle. That's where you get to where they're better than the Minnesotas and the
Purdue.
Rutgers and Purdue and all that. But at the top like 6, the Big Ten can absolutely swing with the SEC. And I'll have to see it again. The deal with the SEC right now is Michigan had a couple down years there when Harbaugh left.
Yeah,
but Florida's not any good. LSU has fallen flat the last 2 years.
Yeah. Tennessee's really
Tennessee was in the playoff 2 years ago, but Auburn's bad. You've got some teams that have been really good
Bama come down to earth.
that aren't good anymore. Bama's at least in the playoff. But you've got some programs that have had historically good seasons. Florida, LSU, and Auburn were heavyweights in the 2000s and in the teens.
Yeah.
And they're not good right now. So that's a flag against the SEC. All the Big Ten teams that are supposed to be good are pretty good. I'm not going to put that pin on Wisconsin. They're not going to be in LSU's Florida's class. Sorry. So that's where the SEC comes up a little bit short. I think that's where they can make the biggest move upward. The Big Ten's move upward had to come with Indiana flying out of nowhere, which I don't know who could have called that coming.
Nobody seen that coming. So that's it for What If Wednesday.
All right, that's it for What If Wednesday. Jeff Goodman likes to talk. He likes to talk about LSU. I'll let you hear from him about LSU, and I'll give my rebuttal to that to close out hour 1 next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
GoTro's Outdoor Power. GoTro's Outdoor Power. If you're looking for a zero-turn mower, you don't look any further. You just go to GoTro's Outdoor Power. 2 locations, one on Airline, one in Gonzales. You can also find them at GoTrosOnline.com. But they're family-owned and operated, 22 years in business in Baton Rouge and Gonzales. But when I say family-owned and operated by the GoTro family, I don't mean some little mom-and-pop shop around the corner. I mean, you're talking about the largest parts inventory in Louisiana. You're talking about the National Hustler Dealer of the Year 2 of the last 3 years. You're talking about an amazing family business that has grown and prospered and is a great resource for the people of South Louisiana. If you've got a new property, you've got a large property, you've got a mower that's on its last leg, and you want to get a new Hustler, there's not a better place to go than Gotro's Outdoor Power. They've got trucks on the road to deliver your parts. They've got trailers they can get to you if you need to get that that equipment delivered. It's great family business, and it's a great resource in South Louisiana. So if you're looking for a Hustler zero-turn mower, Gotro's Outdoor Power, you can find them at gotrosonline.com.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades. But our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
It is really hot out there, y'all, and our friends at Auctioner want you to be aware that heat stroke is a very, very serious thing, and it's something that can be preventable. There are some symptoms once you get to that point that you need to be aware of. If your body temp reaches 103 or more, if you've got confusion, dizziness, or fainting, hot, red, dry, or damp skin, if you've got a rapid pulse, nausea, vomiting, if you experience any of those symptoms of heat stroke, go to the nearest emergency room or call 911. Try your best to stay hydrated. It's important year-round, but hydration plays a key role in how your body functions every single day. So avoid those peak hours. Stay hydrated. If you're out longer than an hour, add electrolytes. Aim for a 2-to-1 water to sports drink ratio, so make sure you're getting enough water in those low-sugar sports drinks if you're out for longer than an hour. That's all courtesy of our friends at Auctioner. This is something we've revisited a couple of times over the last couple of months, but Jeff Goodman, just like, he really does not like LSU's basketball coaching staff, and that's okay. He's got that right, but he just hammers it home constantly. And best I can tell, LSU has not broken any rules in pursuing players in this cycle for the 2026-2027 season, But Jeff Goodman's got huge beef with the way LSU's going about things. It's not just Will Wade he's talking about. Listen to Jeff Goodman on his podcast, Field of 68, talking about LSU's basketball program.
First, we're going to ask the biggest loser about the biggest loser in the SEC.
That would be LSU athletic director or president, whichever you want to pick. They're the biggest loser because they have to deal with the combination of a high maintenance football, men's basketball, women's basketball coach, and they're dealing with Rick Stansbury on staff at LSU, who's trying to come up with every loophole like he has to try to get guys eligible, Stansbury and Will Wade. So I'm saying it's not a specific coach or team. It is the leadership of Louisiana State University right now, and Shaq needs to step in. I think Shaq should be the new president of LSU. I think he should.
How elite would that be? How elite would that be?
But he's doing the GM duties. He's busy being the general manager.
Let him be. Let him be the AD. Let him be the president. Are you kidding me? Talk about a win.
Yeah, I'll say this with LSU: they could be the winner. They could be the loser. We'll see how this all shakes out. Obviously, his roster isn't done. The 25-year-old from Israel, Yam Madar. As of now, it looks like he's going to stay in Israel. But again, as I tweeted, you never know with Slick Rick Stansbury. You never count him out. The smart money is always on Slick Rick and has been. And we'll see if he can pull a rabbit out of his hat here with Yam. And some of the other guys they've gotten are older, international players. So I'm calling him a loser as of today. They don't really have a point guard yet. Also, if you look at their roster, they don't really have a point guard on their roster. But I just think how they've navigated this, the RJ Lewis situation, Will Wade leaving NC State after 1 year. Will Wade is the loser to me right now.
So it's the president's a loser, the athletic director's a loser, the coach is a loser. Obviously, Slick Rick in a demeaning it's just piling on LSU. Whatever. I don't care what Jeff Goodman says. Pile on. I don't think anybody in Baton Rouge cares what Jeff Goodman says, but it just it seems like it's like a personal deal that he just really despises these guys. They're not committing crimes here. Will Wade ran afoul his last time. He ran afoul. There's no question about that. But going after European players in this cycle, it's doing what everybody else is doing. And look, RJ Lewis isn't eligible right now. And Yamadar's not coming here. But you're now blaming the coaching staff for pursuing players for their basketball team. If you've got known impropriety in this cycle, just call him out on that. But it seems so personal for Jeff Goodman to jump down the entire administration's throat in the middle of the summer for trying to put a team together. Again, I talked about this a little bit yesterday. This hasn't worked itself out yet with LSU basketball. We still have 6 weeks to get that to the finish line. There are some things going on behind the scenes that are not public, and I'm told that there's a significant confidence that this basketball team is going to round out into pretty strong shape, and that there will be point guard play, and that these are things that are going to come out in time. We're just not there yet. But the Slick Rick thing, and then Will Wade's a loser, and then going on to the administration, it's a tired deal, and I get it. Rick Stansbury is not the most endearing figure, and I get it. Will Wade is persona non grata everywhere because of the way the FBI wiretap thing went at LSU, and then he leaves NC State after a year. But again, that's not a crime either. Not a crime. And no, he didn't convict LSU of a crime there. It's such a condescending message about LSU basketball, which I guess, hey, look, no one was talking about LSU basketball in the last 3 years ever. So maybe you take it as a positive in that perspective. But it just, I listened to that this morning and I went, goodness, man, can you talk about Kansas or something? It's a lot of vitriol to go nationwide and zero in on LSU for, as he called it, trying to go through loopholes. It's just trying to put a roster together. I will react to anything that it's an impropriety if that's revealed, but at this point it just sounds like the staff's hustling, which seems like a good thing to me, but not necessarily for Jeff Goodman. I'm sure, though, all those guys that are on Duke's roster and Kansas's roster and Kentucky's roster and North Carolina's roster were all done on the up and up. I'm sure that was completely without using any loopholes or running afoul of anything, right? Clearly. That's it for hour number 1. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. If you missed any of the first hour, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. We'll come back after National Headlines of Sports Center. We'll dive into Sam Levitt. Got some Saints talk in hour number 2. Coming up.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com. FabryChevrolet.com is that website. Just check out the inventory. It is all there online at FabryChevrolet.com. They got such an interactive website. It's so user-friendly. You can chat with a salesperson there on the website, but if you're just looking to peruse and see what's in the inventory, I'd really like to look for the Silverados. Maybe I want a new one. Maybe I want a pre-owned. Let's just sort by Silverado, and you can look for all the trucks they've got right there. If you know that you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, just not in the market for a new one at this point, well, just search by pre-owned and see everything that they've got. Maybe at that point you realize what your price range is going to be. You realize maybe what type of mileage you're looking for. You can sort by those as well, and every single vehicle that meets your criteria is going to pop right there on the screen. It's just the part where you can start your buying experience, but I suggest you go up to Highway 61 in St. Francisville and check them out and see that great customer service firsthand. It's Fabry Chevrolet GMC on Highway 61 in St. Francisville, and also the entire inventory on FabryChevrolet.com.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm Billy Schmidt, and I've been with First American Bank for 13 years. I have a passion of getting to know customers, getting to know their journeys, getting to know their stories, and being a small part of that, and just continuing that and taking those relationships and expanding out into the community just to make First American a household name. And people look at us and say, hey, what's special about you guys? You're part of a family.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit, nor by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinecenterla.com.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. England and Argentina resuming one of the fiercest rivalries in international soccer in the semifinals of the World Cup, one that dates back to 1962. They are just underway from Atlanta. The winner takes on Spain in Sunday's final. NBA, the Warriors among the teams still in the race for free agent LeBron James. Draymond Green already made his pitch to the 41-year-old during a recent golf outing. Steph Curry presented his case today on Good Morning America.
The Bay, we know how to win. It's beautiful weather, great golf. I know he's into that. But like you said, the USA experience that we had, the battles that we had over the years. We just know how to play basketball, and I think that he would enjoy, just the idea of what it means to finish your career the right way.
Steph and LeBron did win gold at the 2024 Paris Olympics. Baseball, Astros finalizing a trade that would send oft-injured righty Lance McCullers and lefty Colton Gordon to the NL Central leading Brewers. Not yet known what Houston's getting in return. Astros 3 out in the AL West, game and a half out of the final AL wildcard spot.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Hour 2, Wednesday edition of The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools, officially working towards the weekend. Half a work week in the rearview mirror. Appreciate you hanging out with us. We'll talk some Saints coming up in 15 minutes. We'll start hour number 2 with a continuation of our series going through LSU's depth chart position by position. We've knocked out center, guard, tackle, tight end, and wide receiver. We transition back to the middle of the field to quarterback today on this Wednesday, and we'll talk about Sam Leavitt. We'll talk about Husan Longstring. We'll talk about Landon Clark as well. You know who Sam Leavitt is at this point. We spent a lot of time discussing him over the course of the last 6 months. But Leavitt is a 6'2", fourth-year player. Started his career at Michigan State, then a couple of years as a starter at Arizona State. The first year there, he was the Big 12 Newcomer of the Year. He was a wonderful piece to a college football playoff team. And then last year, the season really marred by injury. You know who he is at this point, because we've talked about him so much. So I wanted to go and talk about maybe some numbers we haven't discussed as much that stuck out, because just saying, yeah, he's kind of a dual threat. He had a Liz Frank injury. He missed the spring, and he played very well for us. You already know all that kind of stuff, right? This is common knowledge. So let's get into some nitty-gritty stuff. And I went to the folks at Pro Football Focus for some numbers just to see what stood out to me about Sam Leavitt statistically and in terms of his grades. I go back to the 2024 season. That was his second college season. It was his first year as a starter. It was his first year at Arizona State. It was the team that had Cam Scattergood, had Jordan Tyson, and they went to the college football playoff. And I looked at some of the grades that they gave him. When he was kept clean at Arizona State as a redshirt freshman, he completed 68% of his throws for 19 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. His Pro Football Focus grade, when kept clean, 85.5. It's a very, very, very high grade when upright. And you would imagine that quarterbacks, when put in the pocket, allowed to survey the field, got some weapons around them, would put up good numbers. When pressured, that completion percentage dropped to 43% before you go, oh my God, 43%. That's actually pretty good for being pressured. That's a pretty high score. He threw 5 touchdowns under pressure, 3 interceptions under pressure. His PFF grade under pressure was 67.9, which is pretty good. So as a redshirt freshman, his grades, his passing, pressured and kept clean, were really solid. And one thing that I noticed is that when he was under pressure and ran, his grade as a runner was 72. So it's a guy that when he was kept clean, he was awesome. 85.5, 19 touchdowns, 3 picks. Then when things broke down, he ran the ball very, very well as a redshirt freshman. So you go to 2025, and when he was kept clean, 65% completions. He threw 8 touchdowns and 2 picks. Very good. When he was pressured, 42% completion, right in line with what he was previously. 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and that run grade was a 71.2. So again, that all kind of lines up. It says when he's kept clean, he's a really high scorer. When he's pressured, he doesn't turn it over too much. He runs very well, and he completes about 40% of his throws, which under pressure is an okay grade. It's not Joe Burrow, but it's an okay grade. When he was kept clean, I did all the numbers for the 2 years he was at Arizona State. So upright in the pocket, able to survey the field and get the ball down the field. 67% completion, 27 touchdowns, 5 picks. When you give him time, he's been very, very good. Here's the other number that stepped out to me because I've watched Lane Kiffin's offenses enough. I looked at Sam Leavitt's passing charts based on distance. And one of the things that really jumped was his grade throwing the deep ball 20-plus yards down the field. In 2024, as a redshirt freshman in their playoff team, he graded 86.6 throwing the deep ball. That's exceptional. He had 13 big-time throws, which is just a subjective metric that Pro Football Focus puts on it. But over an 86 throwing the deep ball. And then last year, in abbreviated playing time, he was dealing with injury. Last year, his deep ball throwing grade, 89.2. You're talking about a quarterback with back-to-back seasons, a total of about 22 games. He's almost a 90 throwing the deep ball on Pro Football Focus. And for those that don't listen to me and don't listen to us as a station talk about PFF grades, there are not a lot of 90s out there. And what do we know about Lane Kiffin? He wants to create confusion in the defense, use speed to attack that confusion, and hit huge plays. And Leavitt's deep ball throwing ability at Arizona State was excellent. So to me, that's a big thing to know about Sam Leavitt. I can go back to the Mississippi State starts. 2 of them, not just one day, 2 of them, 20 for 42 for 151 yards total, 2 picks, 1 touchdown. He was bad in the 2 Mississippi State games. Only won one of those games, but he was bad in those 2 games. But he's also had some really good games. Texas Tech's defense is damn strong. And he hung 319 on him. That's a positive. I think there's reason to believe Sam Leavitt's going to have a hell of a year. We'll see if he's not healthy. We'll see if LSU struggles at right tackle or none of these wide receivers are hits. Like, there are ways you can talk yourself into Sam Leavitt not being a very good quarterback, but it's difficult to do. And I like the way that those grades shake out. So that's Leavitt. We'll talk about him a lot more moving forward. I wanted to discuss Houston Longstreet and Landon Clark briefly. I'll tell you this. I'm not a scout. I'm not a front office member of the NFL. Nobody at LSU is asking me to break down high school tape and decide what players to take. But I can tell you this without being a scout and without being an NFL personnel expert. When you look at Houston Longstreet and Landon Clark out at practice, they play similarly. They use their legs. They're not 6'5". They have strong arms. They're capable runners. Like, they're good athletes. They kind of have similar traits. And I think that's a positive when you consider that they also have some positive traits and some similar traits of Sam Leavitt. All these guys are between 5'11 and 6'3", 6'4", 6'3". All these guys run well, but they're not dependent on their legs. Yeah, Houston Longstreet was a 5-star quarterback and Landon Clark played at Elon. Like, they're not the same. And I think Longstreet's a better player. I thought he had a better spring, especially the last 2 weeks. And I think he's the backup. But I don't think that you have to completely change the offense based on one of those guys coming into the game. I think what Leavitt can run, Longstreet can run. I think what Longstreet can run, Clark can run. I think what Clark can run, Leavitt can run. I think that they all kind of have similar skill sets, and I think that's a very, very big positive. Longstreet's 6'1", 195. He didn't play a lot last year, but when he did, he was accurate. 13 of 15 for 103 yards and a touchdown. He played in mop-up duty against Missouri State. He was 9 for 9 for 69 yards, and he ran for 55 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game. Now, look, it's Missouri State. I'm not going to throw a parade about it, but he did run the football a little bit. He was accurate. He was 9 for 9. Like, that's good mop-up duty for a true freshman. And Landon Clark set some numbers up at Elon. 11 rushing touchdowns for a quarterback, most in school history. 29 touchdowns he accounted for, second most in school history. He's only 6 feet tall, but he was a quarterback and a safety in high school. He's tough. He's not afraid. And I think he's the third-team quarterback, but he's young, and I think that he's got some similarities to a 5-star in Husan Longstreet. So, to me, this was, and I said this in spring, and I'll say it again now because we're overviewing the position. This was as good as you could possibly do in reeling in 3 quarterbacks in a class. You could not have done better. Not if you were attempting to put a real football team together. I suppose you could have taken the $40 million you spent on this roster and lopped off 10 of it for quarterbacks and probably could have done as well. I don't think they did that with these 3 guys, by the way. So literally maybe, but you would have compromised like the entire offensive line or the whole defensive backfield or whatever the case may be. For the money that you were going to allot at quarterback with nobody on the roster, knowing you had to go get 3 guys at a position where there's 1 starter and really 1 guy that plays. To go get the number 1 player in the portal by on 3, a former 5-star recruit who, oh, by the way, is a redshirt freshman in Husan Longstreet, and then Landon Clark, who set records at Elon and is willing to come in and potentially be the 3rd quarterback, that's as good as you can do. Like, it's not easy to go in the transfer portal and convince a guy to come be the 3rd-team player. But they did that with Landon Clark. And they got Longstreet to come in when he knows he's going to have to sit. And they got Levitt, who is as coveted a player as there was in the portal. This is a position that I'm comfortable with, position that I'm confident in. I want to see Levitt running around first time we go out there in fall camp. I want to see him moving around on that foot, looking good. I'm told, as I've said multiple times now on the show, that he looks good and he feels good and he's out there practicing. But this is as good as you could have done. That doesn't mean LSU's going to have a top 5 offense in the country. It doesn't mean LSU's going to have a top 5 offense in the conference. I think they will because I trust Kiffin and Weiss that much. But it's just on paper in terms of what you could have reeled in when you had no quarterbacks on the roster when Kiffin and Weiss showed up. This is as good a trio as you could have lined up. The most important thing is the starter. That's what you have to get right. If your backup and 3rd string aren't very good, so be it. You just hope the quarterback stays healthy, because that's the way that you win championships. You need your quarterback to be healthy. Not everybody's Ole Miss with Trinidad Chambliss or Ohio State with Cardale Jones. Sometimes you luck into that. But this is a really good group at quarterback, and I think Levitt, especially with that deep ball that he threw so well at Arizona State, I think it's a great fit, and I think it's going to work well at LSU with Sam Levitt at quarterback. So I'm excited about that. We're off and running here. Hour number 2 on this Wednesday. We'll step aside, come back, and talk Saints. Where does their triplets trio rank in the NFL next?
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust, FABT.com. They've been at it 116 years, y'all. 116 years at First American Bank and Trust. Whether you're in St. Tammany or Tangipahoa up I-12, maybe down the bayou in St. John, Lafourche, Terrebonne. Maybe you're in Dutchtown, Jones Creek, just outside of Baton Rouge, or perhaps you're in Metairie, Louisiana. No matter where you are in Southeast Louisiana, there's a First American Bank and Trust near you, 25 locations. Do business with the local bank. They've got the resources to help you out with that commercial loan. They got 25 locations. But when you call about that loan, you call someone in South Louisiana. When the decision is made about that loan, it's made in Southeast Louisiana. You may think a lot of those national banks, they've got the resources. I got to go with them. Try First American Bank and Trust. They've got the resources, and they're local right here in your community. It's First American Bank and Trust, FABT.com.
People think it's all about game day. Let's go! But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts, extra reps.
And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
So we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number 1 product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
Raising Cane's is honoring Chuck Norris on National Chicken Finger Day. For every box combo sold on July 27th, Cane's is donating $1 to Chuck's Foundation, Kickstart Kids.
I've been in banking for over 35 years. I usually start about 7:30 in the morning, and I usually leave somewhere around 5, or if customers need me to meet them at their house or their business places, I don't mind going after hours. I have done churches, subdivisions, retail centers, hospitals, and nursing homes. And that's why we chose to live in this community, because of the values First American Bank has, that I can serve my community and my customers.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Remind you about Lifetime Roofing. They're online at lifetimeroofingla.com. That's lifetimeroofingla.com. It is storm season. If you are not sure the condition of your roof currently, let Lifetime Roofing come look at it. They're happy to go up and inspect. If they don't see any issues, they'll say, yeah, you're good. If they think, yeah, we probably need to repair this, a little damage, we'll repair it, they'll get a repair done. Maybe they'll say, yeah, we could probably fortify this. Let's do a tune-up. Get your roof to the level it needs to be for storm season. They'll do that. And if you need a new roof, they'll help you with a new roof. They're happy to finance that. And if you get that new roof, you're talking about a lifetime workmanship warranty when you talk about Lifetime Roofing. So that warranty is obviously going to handle the workmanship, but it's also going to back the materials, which are backed by Certainteed, one of the oldest and most trusted names in building materials. If you're just curious what your roof looks like, let the folks at Lifetime Roofing come and help you out. They do it all the time. They're here to serve in South Louisiana. It's a Louisiana-based business with a bunch of Baton Rouge natives running the show. It's Lifetime Roofing. Find them online at lifetimeroofingla.com. All right, CBS Sports went through an exercise as we get closer and closer to teams reporting for training camp, which, by the way, is inside of 2 weeks away now that we're at Wednesday. It's a week from next Tuesday. The Saints will be on the practice field. And they went through an exercise where they took the quarterback, the starting quarterback, the number one running back, and the number one wide receiver, and they put them together and ranked that group amongst those in the NFL. And what do I always tell you when we go through these lists? I go, okay, well, I'm going to guess where the Saints are. And I'm thinking about Shuck, and I'm going, that's clearly bottom 10, if not bottom 5. Right now. I'm not suggesting he'll stay there, but right now, if you're objectively ranking the NFL, like, you're not putting Tyler Shuck as the 13th best quarterback in the league. You're just not. I'm looking at HN, I'm going, that's an upgrade. Like, that's a guy that's run for 1,000 yards. It's a guy that, okay, that's good. And Olave is just probably not going to stack up with the number one wide receivers in the NFL. So to me, that's probably looking at like 20, 23, 24. And then I scrolled through. 23 is where you find the New Orleans Saints. The blurb on the Saints reads, a season-ending stretch where Shuck looked pretty good playing against really poor competition helped pump up this ranking. The Saints finished the year playing the Panthers, Jets, Titans, and Falcons defenses. Achin is also getting on by name value here. He averages 3.9 yards per carry over the last 3 seasons and even averaged only 4.3 in his better season a year ago. Olave is a really good player, but is also an obvious health risk due to a history of concussions. The Saints have a good play caller in Kellen Moore, and he can elevate the play calling above the talent level. I think that's completely fair. To say that Shuck excelled against bad competition is completely fair. To say that Achin averaged 3.9s per carry the last 3 seasons is objectively true. To say that Olave is a good player and a health risk is completely fair. Nothing in that blurb is unfair about the current state of this unit. However, I think there is a lot of room between 23 where they're ranked and the ceiling for the Saints team on this list. Why do I say that? Well, one, Tyler Shuck can improve significantly. Like the quarterbacks above him on this list. Now, keep in mind, they're grouped in with the running back and the wide receiver. So it's not just a quarterback ranking, but just, for example, the quarterbacks on this list just in front of him. Jackson Dart, he's got Scadaboo and Malik Neighbors with him. Daniel Jones, got Jonathan Taylor and Alec Pierce with him. Trevor Lawrence, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, CJ Stroud, Tua Tagovailoa. Like, these are the quarterbacks right in front of him. Would it surprise anyone this year, if Tyler Shuck ended up playing better than Tua this year or playing more than Tua this year? I don't think so. Would it shock anyone if Tyler Shuck played better than CJ Stroud this year? Did you see CJ Stroud in the playoffs? I know. Tyler Shuck didn't even play in the playoffs, so I have no barometer on that. But I saw CJ Stroud play in the playoffs, okay? It would not surprise me if he wasn't great this year. Kyler Murray, okay, he'll run around a little bit, make a play here or there. Would it stun you if over the next 2 years, if Tyler Shuck didn't play better than Kyler Murray? Daniel Jones? Jackson Dart? Like, I think Tyler Shuck can play better than these guys. So, inherently, there's room for him to grow there. Achin probably is what he is. I don't think he's going to run for 605 if he's healthy. I don't think he's running for 1,920 scores either. But I think he's a reasonable back in the NFL. And then you got Olave. And I looked at Olave's numbers with Shuck in there. And it started in a spot that it should have never started, at the Rams. And Olave had 3 catches for 57 yards. Shuck should have been out there in that game. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Water under the bridge. Starting your NFL career on the road at the Rams was not a great idea. But then, at Carolina, the next week, Olave goes 5 catches for 104 and a score. Next week, 9 catches for 70 yards. Not great the next 2 weeks. 4 for 47 and a touchdown, 3 for 30. But then, the last 3 games, 6 catches, 85 yards and a touchdown. 10 catches, 148 and 2 touchdowns. 8 catches, $119 and a score. The last 3 games, he had 24 catches for well over 225 yards and 4 touchdowns. They found something late. And Olave can be a 1,400-yard receiver if his quarterback plays very well. He was a 1,200-yard receiver last year with 9 touchdowns, and the quarterback the first half of the season was as poor as an NFL quarterback can be in adverse circumstances. So Olave could be better than he is. So that elevates this group. Shuck can outplay these quarterbacks. Achin can be a league average back. Olave can be a really good receiver. And oh, by the way, the wild card in this whole discussion I'm talking about, what if Jordan Tyson blows up? What if he's the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year? What if he catches 1,200 balls and 8 scores? It's a tall ask. I'm not betting on it, but I can't rule it out. He's a top 10 pick. Freak athlete. We've seen fresh rookies jump in and make huge impacts. Jamar Chase did it in the top 10. Malik Neighbors did it in the top 10. That's just my backyard in Baton Rouge. We've seen rookies step in and make huge impacts at wide receiver. And I think that's possible for Jordan Tyson. Who do I think is going to lead the Saints in catches and touchdowns? Who do I think is going to lead the Saints in receiving yards? Olave. I think he's the answer here. But if I'm having the discussion, I can toss Jordan Tyson in there. And I think there is absolutely room among all the places on the Saints roster to have a big jump. The triplets, as they're calling it, the starting quarterback, starting running back, starting wide receiver, This could be a big jump. It would surprise me zero if the Saints were 14th or 13th on that list next year. Zero. It would also surprise me very little if they were 23rd again. If Shuck was just decent and HN ran for 3.5 yards per carry and Olave got hurt. I'm not obviously projecting that. I don't wish that, but would you be stunned if Olave played 12 games this year and had 600 yards and 4 touchdowns? You'd be disappointed. You wouldn't be stunned. There's variance here, but you're close to the floor right now. Last year was probably the floor. I think the ceiling is high for a move in this particular metric. I don't know if the Saints are going to have the best defensive backfield in the NFL. I don't think Granderson and Young are going to combine for 24 sacks. I think there are some things that are really ambitious to wish for. I don't think Tyler Shuck outplaying Daniel Jones, Kyler Murray, Tua is a huge leap. I don't think that Chris Olave having a season reminiscent to his finish to the season, when I know there were no other options for him in a lot of those instances, but I don't think that's out of the question with the functional quarterback. I don't think it's out of the question for Jordan Tyson to have a monster rookie year, and I think that you could look at this a year from now and look at the Saints and go, oh, that's in the top half of the league for sure. That's what you got to bet on. You've got to hope for. That's the great hope for this franchise, is that some of these players mesh together and become greater than the sum of their parts. Because you don't have all pros running all over the field. We have told you for the last 3 days on the show that we're going through the ESPN rankings of the top 10 at every position. The Saints are not going to have a single one in any of those positions. So you're going to have to be better as a group. This is an important group to throw the ball, catch the ball, and run the ball. And I think they got a chance to be much better than they were last year and much better than 23rd. That's my hope, at least. Should be everybody's hope around here in South Louisiana. What do you think, Jordan? They got a chance to move up from 23rd on that list?
Yes, a couple teams that I feel like are very disrespectful that were over them. Now, I get it. It's 3, not just
it's a
2
trio.
or 1. You know, my little homer brain went off. My sensors was tingling when I heard the words Tua. And I was like, well, excuse me? And then Kyler Murray, and I was like, whoa, excuse me? Now, I'm looking at the Vikings. I get it. They got Justin Jefferson. He's
yes, they do.
Great. But are we sure Kyler Murray and Aaron Jones, are we sure that...
You got to give him the Jefferson.
You know,
he's a top 4 receiver in the league.
I give him that. If he's that greater than R3, cool. But, Kyler Murray and the corpse of Aaron Jones, please, Vikings. I don't think the Vikings have a future set up. And don't get me started about... I get it. You know, they got Bijan. Bijan's pretty good. I'll give him credit, you know. London's all
Drake
right.
London's numbers are remarkably similar to a lot. They're the same.
He's cool. You know, he's got his moments, but... Tua, Michael Penix, I'm losing zero sleep over that.
I would like to poll NFL executives or even just NFL analysts. This is just a discussion poll, but
yes,
if you had the choice this year to go into the season with Tyler Shuck or Tua as your QB,
oh man, come on, man.
Who would you take?
Please, they will laugh. Nobody.
I don't think they would laugh.
Oh,
Shuck
Tua,
played 8 games.
Tua, we know it. You know how they talked about in the blur when they said, you know, Olave's got the injury history. We're talking about concussions and Tua. I mean, you breathe on Tua one day, he might just lock up and just whatever he might got going on. So I don't look. Again, it's the Saints and Falcons. I get it. You know, I'm the homer, but at the same time, I just cannot fathom a world where Tua it just all clicks for Tua in Atlanta, and just Atlanta gets it going, and Tua was the savior they've been looking. He was the left-handed quarterback they've been looking for, is Tua. I just can't. If that happens, you know what? I just know no ball. I'm just done. I know nothing about this sport at all. That Tua gets his redemption story on the Falcons. Against my team, just no way. No.
We'll see.
So I do think the team can move up. Yes, do I think they can move up? Yes.
I think they're ceiling on the Saints for this for sure. So that's your look at the black and gold here. If you're looking for Saints content, you can always find it at Hunt on Saints. We've also got a ton of free written content at LouisianaSports.net. Ross Jackson is all over it, going through some things that the Saints need to address statistically entering this season. So if you want to read about the Saints, you can do it for free over at LouisianaSports.net. We'll take a timeout, come back. 30 minutes left to go. It's Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. You're going to think I'm nuts. David said that. He's like, you'll think I'm nuts. But I know. It's 102 out there. I got it. But if, for Thanksgiving and or Christmas, you're having a big gathering. You're having a bunch of folks come over, and you haven't dealt with that upstairs bathroom in a little bit because nobody's up there right now, or you've got a guest bathroom that may have some issues that you don't use day to day, but that you got a bunch of people at the house might need to be used. Now is the time to think about getting that rectified. Don't wait until November 13th to try to start a quick bathroom project. Start now. Get it done by the end of September, middle of October, so that you have the peace of mind knowing that when you've got that huge crew coming in, that they've got a functional bathroom and a good-looking bathroom to use. This is the time you need to start that process. David talks about it, one bath and closet. So if you've got a big crew coming in, you want to do a bathroom overhaul, want to make sure it's functional, and also want to make sure it looks good, David and his team can absolutely do it, customized to your exact specifications. It's one bath and closets. Get that free consultation. They're online at onebathandclosets.com.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith Schoenfagen and Associates, we know this and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
My name is Mike Krumholt, and I've been with First American Bank for 4 years. What makes First American Bank special is we're able to offer all the products and services that any other big bank can offer. What sets us apart is being able to give that small town feel that someone can pick up the phone and they can talk to someone or stop by the branch and get excellent customer service.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Remind you about Fabry Chevrolet GMC online at fabrychevrolet.com, fabrychevrolet.com. They're on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. If you were still looking to drive off on that summer vacation with the family and want to make sure your car is running smoothly before you hit the road, the service department of Fabry Chevrolet GMC services all makes and models. So if you get by and give them a look, they'll be able to get you tuned up and get you on the road safely for your family vacation. If you need a new ride for that family vacation, you want that Chevy Tahoe, want that Chevy Suburban, maybe a GMC Yukon or Denali, they've got your SUVs right there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They've got the new, they've got the pre-owned as well. So if you need a new ride for that new family vacation as well and for the school year to follow, Fabry Chevrolet GMC is happy to have you. You can check out the entire inventory online at FabryChevrolet.com or make that short drive up Highway 61 to St. Francisville to see them. It's Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're online at FabryChevrolet.com. All right, I told you entering the draft that the LSU staff and the people inside the program that I had spoken with felt like they had really candid, honest discussions with their signees entering the draft. And that's really all you can hope for. Because once those picks start flying and the dollar steins start being hummed around, LSU is at their mercy to an extent. And if a player says, this is my number, I'm not coming off of it, the coaching staff is going to try to take them at their word. And at the same time, the coaching staff is looking at and talking to scouts to determine what they think the player is worth to see how good a chance there is that the player comes to school. If the player tells the LSU staff, hey, if I get $1.5 million, I'm going. And then the LSU staff talks to the scouts and they say, yeah, we got like a $2 million valuation on him. We got like 2.2. We're looking at him somewhere in the neighborhood of the 28th pick, the 13th pick, then you realize you're probably not going to get that player. But if you've got a player that says, hey, I'm not budging for anything less than $4 million, and you've got a scout that says, yeah, we've got him as like a third-round grade, well, you figure you're going to get that player. And the only time that the LSU coaching staff and the sources I've got over at the program feel just grave disappointment is when they put in the work to get a player committed and signed, and then that player tells them what they're going to sign for, and then they cut off $1 million from that. That's where the LSU program feels like that's not the way this is supposed to work. It's hard to fill those spots when you feel like you've got a good idea that they're going to show up, and then they don't. And I told you last week that they felt like they were having some really good conversations with some of these high school players. And look, Malachi Washington was not expected to get to campus by a lot of people. There was a really good chance that he wasn't going to make it. You look at Cooper Sides, pretty good chance he wasn't going to make it. Colby Stringer. Those guys put significant price tags on their name and didn't go. We talked to Cooper Sides on Monday. He said, yeah, I mean, if they weren't going to meet my number, like I was going to go to college, I was fine with it. And then you see Jensen Hirschkorn, who I told you last week, this is a guy that is potentially a first-round pick, but he's also a guy that potentially could come to school for 3 years and be a top 5 overall pick. He's 6'7". He throws 98 miles an hour. He's developing a breaking pitch. He's been on the showcase circuit. Like, he's got the goods at 6'7". But he may not be a top 20 pick. Like, he's probably not a top 20 pick. So does he stick to his number? And then he comes off the board in the third round. And you're going, well, slot value in the third round is under $1 million. What is he doing? Hunt, you said you thought that the coaching staff had good conversations with this guy. You're telling me he's a potential first-round grade. He goes in the third round. What's the deal? Here's the deal. Came out last night. Hirschkorn signed for $4 million. He set the record for money post-second round in the history of the MLB draft. The Braves saved money and found a guy in the third round they could spend it on, and he took it. And I promise you this. The people at LSU, when they see this story, yeah, they want Jensen Hirschkorn on their team. They want him in the program for 3 years. They worked hard to develop him. But when Jensen Hirschkorn tells you, I'm not going anywhere for whatever his number was, and if it was significant, 3.5, whatever it was, and he gets $4 million, they're not going, oh, you jerk. You said you were going to. No, they're going, awesome. Great job by the Braves. Great job for Jensen Hirschkorn. $4 million. That's a lot of money. That's first round cash. And so the truth holds. Even though you didn't get Jensen Hirschhorn, he was honest with you. I'm good with coming to LSU, but I've got a number. And if they come get me with that number and the phone rings and that number's on the other side, I'm going to go. And he did. Good for him. I'm not going to tell an 18-year-old not to sign for $4 million. It's an unlikelihood that he would show up and go all Paul Skeens on him and sign for 8 or 9. You have to be a top 5 pick in the draft to do that. He got his $4 million. Go start your pro career. It's a positive story. It's disappointing for LSU, but that's a young man, a family, and an advisor that did the job the right way. Communicated with LSU, communicated with the professionals. Professionals said $4 million in the third round. Done. Start your pro career. That's a good thing. There's also some more news from baseball, kind of a baseball grab bag here in our second to last segment. Marcos Paz has found a landing spot. He's going to Georgia. I told you this 2 weeks ago, and I'll circle back to it briefly. When a player goes into the portal, more often than not, that player has made that decision before the portal window opens. And when the portal opens, within the first 48 hours, that player's in the portal. It's rare that 3 weeks go by and then someone jumps in the portal, unless something's fishy. That's the vibe I got here. I got that vibe from this. And there are some people at LSU that really appreciate Wes Johnson's efforts to the program, helped bring a national championship to LSU. I don't know Wes Johnson at all. He comes across a little prickly in his press conferences. I've told you how I feel about press conferences. It's not the most important thing in the world. I don't think it's a complete indictment on your character to be a little prickly in press conferences. But this one's a little fishy. So we'll see what comes of it, because that one came out of nowhere to an extent, and it came late. And we'll see how all that shakes out. Last piece of the baseball grab bag is the ABS system. It was used in the SEC tournament. Of course, there was that weird play where ball 4 was called, and they threw down, and everybody's safe, and then they reviewed it, and it's strike 3. So now what do we do with the guy at second base? Well, now he's out because it was a live ball. That wasn't great, right? It was a bad situation that LSU was involved in there with the ABS system. But what the NCAA is looking to put into place, and it looks like it is going to be put into place, if you have the capability via TrackMan in your stadium, you can use ABS. You can put the challenge system in. You can give everybody 2 or 3 challenges. The SEC is going to have to put this into practice, and they certainly aren't going to do it in the WAC. I don't think you're going to see that happening in Conference USA immediately. But if you've got it everywhere, and the SEC's got TrackMan everywhere in every stadium, you can use ABS and put this into perspective. I know that scenario that played out in the SEC tournament for LSU was an ugly one. To have that kind of confusion on the field based on a missed call that was then changed, and then that changed the outcome of the stolen base, and that's a bad deal. But so is missing a lot of balls and strikes. I have a problem with that play in the stolen base. I don't have a problem with the strike zone shrinking in college baseball. I think pitchers will adjust and, generally speaking, throw more strikes. They may throw strikes that are too good that may get hit, but I don't think that college pitchers are incapable of finding the zone if we don't give them 8 inches off the outside corner. I think they can adjust to that and make better pitches. You got metal bats, and these guys sometimes don't have the best stuff, and all of a sudden you may get some higher scoring games, but I don't need pitches that are off the plate being called strikes a ton. So I'm not pounding the table in here saying we've got to go to ABS, but if they're going to implement it, I don't have a huge problem with it. I think that there is a lot of good that comes from it, and there is some bad, and that's generally the case with a lot of things you do. But I think I'm willing to deal with it because I watch the Cubs almost every night, and they've got ABS, and I just rarely have a problem with it. I think it more often benefits the game than it does take away from it. So there's your baseball grab bag. Good on Jensen Hirschhorn, $4 million in the third round, all-time record. Marcos Paz headed to Georgia, okay, and ABS coming to the Southeastern Conference, we think, in 2027. We'll see. Come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com, HighlandIG.com. Jonathan Carbo and his team. Just awesome folks when it comes to the world of property and casualty insurance, as well as group and employee benefits. If you're an employer, own a business, you're a CFO, you're in charge of the benefits, you know that times are tough. Those renewals are going up, 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 up. And that makes it tough on your bottom line because you want to keep those employees happy. You want to make sure their families are covered for their health insurance and their dental and their vision and all that. But it's hard to get them covered. The Highland Insurance Group can't promise you they're going to lower your costs, but they can promise you a conversation. They can promise you that they'll explore other options. They're an independent broker. They've got contracts with multiple different carriers on the benefits side. And if you want another option because you're not happy with the renewal you just had, or you know there's one coming up and you're a little apprehensive about it, the Highland Insurance Group, Jonathan Carbo and his team at the Highland Insurance Group, happy to help you with that. They're online at HighlandIG.com. The Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com.
I'm Billy Schmidt, and I've been with First American Bank for 13 years. I have a passion of getting to know customers, getting to know their journeys, getting to know their stories, and being a small part of that, and just continuing that, and taking those relationships and expanding out into the community, just to make First American a household name. And people look at us and say, hey, what's special about you guys? You're part of a family.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Shout out to my guy Joey Blanchard, Renaissance Homes and Pools. You can find him online at builtbyrenaissance.com. It's builtbyrenaissance.com. If these summer months are just more than you can bear and you just wish you had that dream pool in your backyard, well, call my guy Joey Blanchard. Shoot him a text. It may be the best way to get in touch with him. I give you his cell phone number every single week on this show. It's 225-252-7745. That's 252-7745. Text Joey, say, hey, heard about you on Hunt Show. Want to talk about a pool. He's happy to have that conversation with you. Maybe it's a pool and an outdoor kitchen. You've always wanted that outdoor space to entertain. You can do it. with Renaissance Homes and Pools. And maybe it's not the heat of the summer that you want to have that ready for. Maybe you just want to have it ready for football season. So when those fall months cool off, you want to have some folks outside to watch the game and cook some things up. Contact Joey at Renaissance Homes and Pools. He's happy to put in that outdoor kitchen you have always wanted. It's Renaissance Homes and Pools. They're online at builtbyrenaissance.com. All right, take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so there's a TikTok that has gone viral. It's gone viral of the MLB All-Stars answering a question. The question they were asked was, what's the best statistic to judge an MLB hitter? And 6 out of the 9 that were interviewed said OPS.
Yeah.
So is OPS the best stat to judge an MLB hitter? Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. It just tells more of the story. I mean, there are more in-depth statistics, weighted runs created plus, and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I would suggest a pretty good indicator of a hitter would be exit velocity.
Okay.
Like if you're in the top 15 in the MLB in exit velocity, I guarantee your numbers are good. Because you're just not going to line out to center field that often. But I think OPS is probably the best because it does weigh walks, which and things like that, as opposed to exit velocity, which doesn't. So yeah, OPS is probably the best. I will be candid. I don't know every single metric that goes into weighted runs created plus. I know how to read it and I know what it means in terms of the rest of the league.
Yeah.
But OPS is good. You got an OPS in college baseball north of 1,000. You're doing a great job. You got an OPS in Major League Baseball north of 850. You're having a really good year.
Okay. So the third Wednesday in July means today is National Hot Dog Day.
Okay.
And the Seattle dog was voted as the country's best regional hot dog in a major test conducted by the New York Times. So
I don't even know what that is.
So a Seattle dog is a hot dog slathered, the bun is slathered in cream cheese and topped with caramelized onions and sometimes jalapenos. So is the Seattle dog the best in America? Take it or leave it.
I will leave it because I don't like a lot of stuff. I don't eat onions. So when I eat onions, they're going to be cooked.
Okay.
Like I'm having onions tonight in this. It's a frozen week because we're trying to stay away from the bacteria that destroys you.
No diarrhea.
So we're doing these frozen dumplings from the grocery store, and we got a couple sauces. And part of the beginning of it is you put some onions in the pan, get that sauteed up, and then you put the sauce over the top with the dumplings and you steam them. Well, the onions are going to cook for like 20 minutes. I'm good with that. I'll put a bunch of onions in my gumbo and whatnot.
Okay.
That's all fine and dandy. I don't want like caramelized onions on my hot dog or burger. Like that's gross to me. I don't like the texture. I'm out. So no, that's no good. No Chicago dog for me. I don't like pickles. I don't like tomatoes. So those are out. The best hot dog is just a regular hot dog. Want to put mustard on it? Great. I like putting ketchup and mayonnaise on mine, which everyone hates. That's great.
I still can't believe that I hate the ketchup. I love ketchup with my hot dog.
Oh, yeah, you're not supposed to do that. Everybody hates that.
All right, well, oh, man. Forget them people. It's my hot dog. So a Florida district is changing the way it calculates grade point averages after a student with a record-breaking 11.99.
Excuse me?
Yes, 11.99 GPA, Vibav Bakshir, who graduated valedictorian from Steinbrenner High School in Lutz, finished with a GPA of 11.99. So he took 20 AP classes during his high school tenure, completed 20 full dual enrollment college courses via the University of Florida online program, and while he graduated, he earned himself an associate's degree. So is a GPA being this high ridiculous? Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. My guy has different priorities than me in college. It sounds like my guy is trying to get out of college as quickly as possible. I was trying to hang around in college as much as possible. This guy's going to be out. He's already out if he wants to be out. Those are not the priorities that I once had. But yeah, an 11 GPA, you could take a few of my semesters and add them up, and you wouldn't get there. There could be some multiplication involved, quite frankly, and you wouldn't get to 11. So yeah, that's strong performance. I just don't know if that's where my priorities were laid.
You know, I just cannot believe that a GPA can even get that high, and the fact that this guy has a GPA that high, and got his associate's degree in high school. Like, what do you plan to do? This guy's going to be a billionaire or something? He's going to work for Starlink or something?
Something tells me this guy was not running for 1,300 yards and 52 touchdowns.
No.
Something tells me this guy wasn't averaging 28 a night on the hardwood.
Listen, when there was, so I was watching the little presentation. This guy was like the leader of the finance club,
Hey,
like
my
president.
man.
He's the president of all this stuff they had going on.
You're telling me he doesn't have an OPS of 950?
Oh, not even close. He probably couldn't tell you. He's going to be the guy they hire to calculate the OPS.
He's going to be in Theo's next department doing some money ball.
He's Moneyball all day. He's Moneyball.
Gets on base.
Sign him.
Love it.
So that's it for Take It or Leave.
All right, that's it. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us here on a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Busy show today. We opened with Bert Jones, his number 7. We'll go Hyatt Tiger Stadium. LSU has been more open to retiring jerseys over the years, and Bert Jones next up in that line. So great news for him. Talked a little bit of recruiting, LSU football recruiting with Sam Spiegelman at 1:15. We also discussed the LSU quarterbacks at 2 o'clock. You can find all that at Hunt on LSU. The Saints triplets, quarterback, running back, wide receiver. Where do they rank in the NFL? 23rd. Talked about that. You can find that at Hunt on Saints. That's it for us here. Check out the show on demand. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further View. Excited for tomorrow's show. Talk some Saints with Luke Johnson and get into LSU's running backs. You'll have a safe and happy Wednesday. Back tomorrow.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Remind you about Marucci before we head out of here. Marucci's, you guessed it, you already know it, the official bat of Major League Baseball. They've been at this for 2 decades, which is not a long time. They went from a backyard shed to the official bat of Major League Baseball in 22 years. It's an amazing story right here in Baton Rouge. So if you'd like to learn that story, go take a tour. They'll tell you how 2 former MLB athletes and their trainer started making bats. And all of a sudden they realized bats are pretty good. And then all of a sudden they got into the hands of the best players in the world. And now they are where they are. You can also see where they make 1,200 of those bats every single day. You can see where they're carved and stained and shipped off. It's amazing. You can also become a member of the Hitter's House. Looking to take some swings, avoid the hot summer heat or those afternoon showers? Become a member of the Hitter's House. Key card access 24/7 over at Marucci. You can buy your tickets to the tour at MarucciSports.com. It's all there at Marucci.